Blood struck the glass door before the man did. Lily Bennett looked up from her sewing machine as a tall stranger stumbled into her alteration shop and locked the door behind him. Rainwater covered his black hair. Blood darkened one cuff of his white shirt. His expensive black coat was torn from the shoulder to the ribs, as though someone had tried to cut through both the fabric and the man wearing it. He did not look frightened. That disturbed Lily more than the blood. His face remained calm while black vehicles moved slowly past the shop windows outside. His eyes followed them through the rain, cold and calculating. Then he placed the damaged coat on Lily's cutting table. "Repair it." Lily stared at him. The shop was nearly empty. A row of unfinished dresses hung beside the wall. Her grandfather's old wooden counter stood beneath a fading photograph of the man who had taught her how to sew. Bills waited beneath a paperweight shaped like a silver thimble. She had spent the morning wondering whether she could afford rent. Now an injured stranger stood in front of her as though he owned the building. Lily folded her arms. "You are bleeding on my fabric." The man glanced at the red drops near his sleeve. "I noticed. You should go to a hospital. I need the coat repaired." "You need stitches." "So does the coat." Lily narrowed her eyes. Men who looked like him did not usually enter Bennett alterations. They visited private tailors in luxury hotels. They did not stand beneath a flickering ceiling light while rain dripped from their shoes. They did not watch the street with one hand hidden near their waist. Lily noticed the shape beneath his jacket. A weapon. Her heartbeat changed, but her voice did not. "Take off the jacket, too." His gaze returned to her. "Why?" "Because I cannot examine your arm through the fabric unless you prefer to bleed to death while arguing with a seamstress." Something moved behind his eyes. Not amusement, perhaps surprise. He removed the jacket slowly. A shallow cut crossed his upper arm. It was ugly, but not fatal. Lily brought a clean towel and pressed it into his hand. "Hold this against the wound." The man obeyed. That surprised her even more. She lifted the coat beneath the bright lamp. It was handmade from heavy black wool, lined with dark silk. The torn section followed an old seam that had weakened with age. "This coat is not new," Lily said. "No, it is older than you are. Probably. Whoever stored it did not protect the lining from moisture." His expression hardened. "Can you repair it?" "Yes." "How long?" 2 hours. "I will pay for one." Lily looked at him. "That is not how time works." He pulled several folded bills from his pocket and placed them on the table. The amount could have covered her rent for months. She took enough for the repair and pushed the rest toward him. He studied the money as though nobody had ever returned anything to him. "You do not know who I am. That does not change the price." "It might. Not in this shop." Outside, one of the black vehicles stopped. The stranger moved toward the rear door. "If anyone enters, you have not seen me." Lily threaded a needle. "You are difficult to miss." His hand paused on the door. For the first time, the corner of his mouth almost moved. Then he disappeared into the narrow storage room behind the shop. 3 men entered less than a minute later. They wore dark coats and expressions that made Lily understand they were not police officers. The tallest man approached her table. "A man came through here?" Lily continued examining the torn lining. "Many men come through here. Most of them need their pants shortened." He leaned closer. This one was bleeding. Lily looked at the red drops on her table. "You are also standing beside blood. Should I assume it belongs to you?" The man stared at her. Behind the storage door, there was complete silence. The second man searched the row of hanging garments. Lily felt anger rise through her fear when he touched a wedding dress with unwashed hands. "Do not touch that." He ignored her. Lily lifted her heavy tailor shears. "I said, do not touch it." All 3 men looked at the shears. The tall man smiled without warmth. "You would use those on that fabric?" "Absolutely." He studied her for another moment. then motioned toward the door. The men left. Lily locked it behind them. The stranger emerged from the storage room. You lied for me. I protected the wedding dress. You happened to benefit. His gaze rested on her face. She saw the precise moment he decided not to believe her. Lily returned to the coat. You can leave through the alley. Come back in 2 hours. He did not move. Who owns this shop? I do. You are alone. That is none of your business. His eyes moved toward the photograph above the counter. The older man, in the picture, stood beside a much younger Lily. His hands rested on her shoulders. A measuring tape hung around his neck. Your father, my grandfather. Is he still alive? No. The answer seemed to interest him. Lily disliked that. Why are you asking? The stranger placed the towel on the table. The fabric was stained red. Because people do not usually risk themselves for strangers. I did not risk myself for you. No. You protected a dress. Exactly. He put on his jacket. 2 hours. Lily said. He moved toward the back door. What is your name? She hesitated. Lily Bennett. His gaze remained on her for several long seconds. Sebastian. Only Sebastian. For now. Then he was gone. Lily waited until the alley fell silent before releasing the breath trapped inside her chest. She should have called the police. She should have thrown the coat into the street. Instead, she returned to the cutting table. The fabric felt strangely familiar beneath her fingers. Not the style. The construction. The hand stitching around the collar followed a method her grandfather had taught her when she was 14. Small slanted stitches. Almost invisible from the outside. Designed to survive decades of wear. Lily opened the damaged lining carefully. A second layer of silk rested beneath the first. That was unusual. She slipped a thin tool between the fabrics and separated an old repair. Something pale appeared beneath the black thread. Letters. Lily moved the coat beneath the lamp. A faded name had been embroidered inside the lining with silver thread. Isabella Romano. Several letters had nearly disappeared where the silk had torn. Whoever repaired the coat years ago had sewn through the name, hiding half of it beneath the seam. Lily felt an unexpected ache. She did not know Isabella Romano, but she knew what it meant to preserve a name. After her grandfather died, customers told Lily to change the shop. They suggested removing his photograph and replacing the old wooden counter. They told her Bennett, alterations sounded outdated. Lily had refused. Some names deserved to survive. She selected the finest silver thread in her collection and began restoring the embroidery. She worked slowly. The letters emerged beneath her fingers. Isabella Romano. Not erased. Not forgotten. When the repair was complete, Lily placed the coat across the table and stepped back. It looked whole again. At exactly 2 hours, 3 black vehicles stopped outside the shop. Lily's stomach tightened. The front passenger door opened. A man in a dark suit stepped onto the sidewalk. Another followed. Then another. The injured stranger emerged from the center vehicle. He no longer looked like a man escaping danger. He looked like the reason danger existed. Pedestrians crossed the street to avoid him. The men around him watched every doorway and roof. One opened the shop door before Sebastian reached it. Lily understood before anyone spoke. Sebastian Romano. The name appeared in newspapers without photographs. The head of one of the most powerful crime families on the East Coast, a man connected to ports, hotels, construction companies, private security firms, and deaths nobody could prove. He entered the shop and removed his gloves. His gaze found the coat. Lily stood behind the table. You left out an important detail. Sebastian looked at her. Which one? Your last name. One of his men stepped forward. You should address Mr. Romano with respect. Sebastian raised one finger. The man stopped immediately. Lily noticed that. She also noticed how quickly the entire room became silent when Sebastian moved. He approached the table and examined the repaired seam. The damage had disappeared. His fingers moved over the wool, then reached the opening Lily had left in the lining. She had not closed it completely because she wanted to show him the restored embroidery. Sebastian turned the fabric. He saw the name. Everything inside him changed. The calm left his eyes. His shoulders became motionless. His fingers tightened around the lining with such force that Lily feared he might tear it again. Isabella Romano. The name seemed to stop his breathing. Behind him, the bodyguards exchanged uneasy glances. Sebastian looked at Lily. Where did you see this? Inside the lining. Who told you to restore it? Nobody. Do not lie to me. Lily's surprise became anger. You brought me a torn coat. I repaired it. You opened the original seam. The seam was damaged. You found the name. Yes. You chose the same color of thread. It was silver. Sebastian leaned closer. That thread has not been manufactured for more than 20 years. Lily held his gaze. My grandfather kept old supplies. His voice became dangerously quiet. Your grandfather? Yes. What was his name? Thomas Bennett. One of the bodyguards turned towards Sebastian. The reaction was small. But Lily saw it. Sebastian saw it too. What he asked. The man hesitated. The name appears in an old family ledger. Lily's pulse accelerated. What family ledger? Sebastian did not answer. He turned the lining over and examined the hidden stitches. His gaze sharpened. There was a second seam here. I noticed it. Did you open it? No. Why not? Because it was not damaged. Sebastian studied her face as though searching for a lie. Then he looked toward the photograph of Thomas Bennett. You said he is dead. 4 years ago. How long did he own this shop? Almost 40 years. Did he ever mention Isabella Romano? No. Did he leave records? Lily stepped between Sebastian and the rear office. You are not searching my shop. Sebastian's men shifted. He remained still. A coat belonging to my mother appeared in your shop nearly 2 decades after it was destroyed. Her name was hidden beneath a repair made with thread your grandfather owned. You will understand why I have questions. Your questions do not give you permission to go through my property. Your property may contain evidence connected to her death. Lily's voice lowered. Then ask like a human being. Silence filled the shop. One guard looked at Lily as though she had signed her own death sentence. Sebastian did not raise his voice. You are not afraid enough. You are standing in my grandfather's shop while accusing him of something he cannot defend. I am exactly as afraid as I need to be. Sebastian's gaze moved over her face. Her auburn hair pinned loosely behind her head, and the curve of her body beneath a simple blue dress. She felt the attention. It was not gentle. It was controlled and unsettling. He reached into the coat and touched the restored name again. My mother wore this coat on the last night I saw her. Lily's anger weakened. How old were you? 16? The answer came reluctantly. He looked away from her. The family mansion burned that night. We found her jewelry and blood in the ruins. The coat was listed among the destroyed belongings. Lily looked at the old fabric. I am sorry. Sebastian's expression closed again. Do not be. The softness had lasted less than a second. He motioned to one of his men. Take every record connected to Thomas Bennett. Lily placed both hands on the coat. No. The bodyguard stopped. Sebastian looked down at her hands. Move them. Not until you agree to leave my records here. That is not a request. Then you will need to tear the coat away from me. Something dangerous passed through his eyes. Lily knew he could do it. He could remove her hands without effort. He could order his men to empty the building. Instead, he stepped closer until the cutting table pressed against her waist. His voice dropped. You protected me without knowing my name. You repaired something that belonged to my mother. Do not make me regret giving you a choice. Lily looked up at him. You never gave me one. For several seconds, neither moved. Then the front door opened. A woman in a white designer coat entered as though she owned the street outside. She was tall and elegant, with dark glossy hair and diamonds at her throat. Two assistants followed her. Her gaze moved from Sebastian to Lily's hands, resting on the black coat. Disgust transformed her beautiful face. Sebastian, she said. Your men told me you were hiding inside a repair shop. His expression cooled. Bianca. The woman approached him and touched his arm. Your uncle is waiting. The Valenti representatives have arrived. Our families cannot finalize the announcement without you. Lily began withdrawing her hands from the coat. Bianca saw the embroidered name. Her face changed. Where did she get that? Sebastian did not answer. Bianca reached for the coat. Lily caught the sleeve before she could take it. Careful. The lining is still open. Bianca stared at Lily's hand. Do not touch me. I am touching the coat. That is worse. Sebastian's voice sharpened. Bianca. But she ignored him. She pulled the coat from the table and examined the restored embroidery. This belonged to Isabella. Yes, Sebastian said. Bianca looked at Lily. Who gave you permission to open it? It was torn. You put your hands inside a Romano family relic. Lily's patience disappeared. Your family relic was bleeding on my table 2 hours ago. One of the guards lowered his eyes, hiding a reaction. Bianca did not. She stepped closer to Lily. Women like you survive by touching things that belong to powerful people, then pretending it was an accident. Lily felt the insult before understanding all of it. Bianca's gaze moved deliberately over her full figure and modest dress. A little seamstress inside a dying shop. How convenient that a priceless coat found its way to you. Sebastian watched Lily. He saw her shoulders tighten. He saw the humiliation she refused to show. Bianca reached for the embroidered name. Her fingernail caught the silver thread. Lily grabbed her wrist. Do not pull that. Bianca stared at the hand holding her. Remove your fingers. You will damage the name. Bianca jerked free and tore the coat from Lily's grasp. The old lining ripped. The sound was small. Sebastian's reaction was not. He seized the coat from Bianca. Every guard in the room became still. Bianca's face lost color. Sebastian opened the damaged lining and saw that part of the restored name had torn loose. His voice was calm. Leave. Bianca swallowed. Sebastian. I did not mean to damage it. Leave. She looked at Lily. You are choosing a stranger over the woman who will become your wife. The announcement has not been made. Our families agreed. Our families agree to many things without me. Bianca's anger flashed. This woman has no right to touch anything that belonged to Isabella. Sebastian turned toward Lily. Without warning, he lifted the coat and placed it around her shoulders. The black wool covered her blue dress. It was too large, heavy with history, warmth, and the faint scent of Sebastian. Lily froze. Sebastian adjusted the torn collar near her neck. His fingers almost touched her skin, then stopped. He looked at Bianca. Lily protected my mother's name while members of my own family tried to erase it. Bianca's lips parted. Sebastian continued. She has more right to touch this coat than anyone standing in this room. The shop fell silent. Lily could feel the weight of every gaze. Sebastian looked down at her. His face remained unreadable. But the anger in his eyes was no longer directed at her. Close the shop. Why? Because anyone who knows this coat survived will come looking for it. I am not leaving with you. That was not what I said. Your men are standing in front of the door. They are protecting it. They are blocking it. Both can be true. Bianca laughed bitterly. You cannot be serious. She probably planted the name herself. Sebastian turned his head. One more word about her, and the Valenti agreement ends tonight. Bianca went still. The threat was not loud. It did not need to be. She gathered what remained of her pride and walked out. Her assistants followed. Through the window, Lily watched Bianca enter a white car. The woman looked back at the shop with hatred sharp enough to survive the glass. Lily removed the coat from her shoulders. You should go after her. No. She looked furious. She usually does. She thinks she is going to marry you. Many people think many things. Lily placed the coat on the table. I am not becoming part of whatever this is. You became part of it when you found the name. I repaired a seam. Sebastian stepped closer. You restored something that 18 years of lies tried to destroy. Lily glanced toward the damaged embroidery. Then let me finish it. He watched her sit at the sewing machine. You are still willing to repair what Bianca tore. The name did not tear itself. Lily selected fresh thread. Sebastian remained beside the table while his men searched the street outside. For the first time since entering the shop, he seemed uncertain where to stand. Lily pointed toward a wooden chair. Sit. His eyebrows lifted. You are injured. Sit before you fall on another dress. Sebastian Romano, feared by politicians, businessmen, and men with private armies, sat on the old chair beside a box of buttons. Lily bent over the coat. She felt his eyes on her hands. Why did you restore the name, he asked. Because someone tried to hide it. That is not an answer. It is the only one I have. Lily worked the needle beneath the silk. My grandfather used to say, fabric remembers everything done to it. A dress remembers where a woman held it when she was nervous. A uniform remembers which shoulder carried the most weight. Even when stains disappear, the fibers change. Sebastian looked at the coat. What is this? Remember? Lily's hand slowed. Fear. His gaze shifted to her. The lining was repaired quickly. Whoever closed the seam was frightened. They were not trying to make it beautiful. They were trying to hide something before they were interrupted. Sebastian stood. Open the second seam. Lily looked at him. It may damage the original fabric. Open it. This time, his voice contained no threat, only urgency. Lily selected the smallest blade and cut one old stitch. Then another. The second layer separated. A narrow strip of fabric rested between the linings. At first it looked decorative. Then Lily saw tiny numbers stitched in black thread. Rows of them. Account numbers. Dates. Initials. Sebastian leaned over her shoulder. His chest nearly touched her back. His hand braced against the table beside hers. Lily became painfully aware of his body, his controlled breathing, and the heat of him against the cool room. He reached toward the fabric. She caught his wrist. Do not. His eyes dropped to her fingers. Lily released him. The thread is old. Let me remove it safely. Sebastian did not move away. She worked while he watched. The numbers continued beneath the seam. Beside them appeared small embroidered symbols. A bird, a key, a rose, a broken circle. Sebastian's face hardened. You recognize them, Lily said. The bird was my mother's private mark. What did it mean? Freedom. Lily looked at him. Sebastian stepped back. His mother had not embroidered flowers or family crests. She had embroidered a map. By midnight, Bennett Alterations was surrounded by Romano guards. Lily sat in the rear office while Sebastian examined her grandfather's oldest records. He did not take them. After their confrontation, he had asked permission. Lily had given it reluctantly. The ledgers revealed nothing at first. Hem lengths, fabric orders, client names, payments recorded in Thomas Bennett's careful handwriting. Then Sebastian found a group of alterations that had never been charged. Most belonged to women. Some names had been crossed out and replaced with initials. Others included addresses in Boston, Philadelphia, and Baltimore. Beside each entry, Thomas Bennett had drawn one of the same symbols hidden inside the coat. A bird, a key, a rose. Lily stared at the pages. I have seen these marks before. Where? Inside. Old garments. My grandfather said they were quality symbols. Sebastian's expression darkened. They were roots. Lily looked at him. Routes for what? He closed the ledger. My mother managed several charities connected to the family. Shelters, clinics, employment offices. My father believed they existed to improve the Romano reputation, but they did not. Sebastian walked toward the window. Isabella used them to help women disappear. From abusive husbands, Lily asked. From men protected by families like mine. The answer changed the room. Lily looked again at the lists. How many women? Sebastian opened another ledger. Hundreds. The shop suddenly felt larger, filled with invisible lives. Women had entered these rooms carrying dresses, coats, uniforms, and fear. Thomas Bennett had altered more than their clothing. He had changed their names. Sebastian pointed to an account number sewn inside the coat. This account belonged to a shipping company controlled by my uncle Marcello. He claimed the money disappeared during the mansion fire. But your mother moved it, Lily said. She used family money to finance the escape network. Sebastian nodded. That is why they killed her. The certainty in his voice frightened Lily. You believe your own family murdered her. I believe she betrayed us. He looked at the coat. They taught me to hate her before I was old enough to understand what hatred cost. Lily saw something beneath his control. Not grief alone. Shame. She approached him slowly. You preserved the coat. I found it 3 months ago in a sealed storage facility connected to a dead family accountant. I thought it was an imitation. But you wore it. I wanted to know why someone had hidden it. His gaze met hers. Now I do. A sharp crack broke the window. Sebastian moved before Lily understood the sound. He threw her to the floor and covered her body with his. Glass fell across the cutting table. A second bullet struck the wall. The guards outside shouted. Sebastian drew a weapon from beneath his jacket and fired through the broken window toward the roof across the street. Lily pressed both hands against the floor. His weight covered her completely. His face was inches from hers. Stay down, he said. She heard engines roaring outside. Men ran through the front door. The shooter disappeared before the guards reached the opposite building. Sebastian remained over Lily until one of his men confirmed the street was secure. Only then did he rise. He extended a hand. Lily stared at it. Blood stained his sleeve again. You reopened the wound. It does not matter. You protected me. His jaw tightened. The bullet came through my window because of my coat. It is my window. Not anymore. Lily stood without taking his hand. What does that mean? It means you are leaving. No. Sebastian looked around the damaged shop. That bullet missed your head by less than a foot. This is my home. This is a shop. It was my grandfather's life. And it will become your grave if you remain. Lily's fear turned into anger. You do not get to control me because someone shot at us. I control danger before it takes what belongs under my protection. I do not belong under anything. His gaze became intense. You lied for me. You preserved my mother's name. You uncovered evidence that can destroy half of my family. Whether you like it or not, everyone responsible will believe you belong to me. Lily's breath caught. I do not. Sebastian stepped closer. Then survived long enough to prove it. 20 minutes later, black vehicles carried Lily away from the only home she had ever known. She sat beside Sebastian in the rear of an armored car. The repaired coat rested between them. Rain moved across the dark windows. Motorcycles guarded the convoy. Behind them, men covered the broken window of Bennett Alterations with blackboards. Lily looked back until the shop disappeared. Sebastian watched her. You hate me. I barely know you. That has not stopped other people. She turned toward him. Is that what you think? That everyone who knows you eventually hates you? No. His voice was quiet. Most people begin there. The safe house was not a house. It was the top 3 floors of a private tower overlooking Manhattan. Lily stepped from the elevator into a silent world of marble, glass, and dark wood. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealed the city beneath them. Armed guards stood near every entrance. Sebastian had called it secure. Lily called it a beautiful prison. A woman named Elena showed her to a guest room larger than the entire shop. Clothes had already been placed inside the closet. Lily opened one drawer and found silk undergarments in her exact size. Her face heated with anger. She marched into Sebastian's office carrying them. He stood near the window speaking to his security chief. The conversation stopped when she entered. Lily dropped the garments onto his desk. Explain. Sebastian looked at them. You needed clothes. How did you know my size? One of the women purchased them. How did she know? His gaze moved over Lily once. Accurately. Lily felt heat rise into her cheeks. That was not an answer. Sebastian dismissed the security chief. When they were alone, he approached the desk. Your measurements were written on a customer card near the sewing machine. You searched my customer cards, my men searched for explosives. Inside my measurements, they were thorough. Lily folded her arms. I am leaving tomorrow. No, you cannot keep me here. I will call the police. Several officers received money from my uncle. Others received money from me. You will not know which one answers. That silenced her. Sebastian's expression softened by a degree. Until I identify the people behind the shooting, this is the safest place for you. Safe is not the same as free. No. He looked toward the city. It rarely is. During the following days, Sebastian questioned everyone who had access to the storage facility where he found the coat. Lily studied Thomas Bennett's ledgers. She discovered that every symbol corresponded to a garment and a city. Dresses marked with birds had gone to Boston. Coats marked with keys had traveled to Philadelphia. Rose symbols appeared beside names in Manhattan. Her grandfather had hidden information inside hems, collars, and sleeves. He had turned ordinary clothing into a secret archive. Lily began opening several garments he had stored in the shop basement. Sebastian's men brought the boxes to the penthouse. Inside a red evening gown, she found a list of women whose new identities had been purchased with Romano money. Inside a gray nurse uniform, she found the address of a protected clinic. Inside a wedding dress, she found a letter from Isabella Romano. The letter was brief. Thomas, Marcello knows money is missing. If I do not reach the harbor, protect the coat. The names matter more than I do. Tell Sebastian I did not leave him. Lily stopped reading. Sebastian stood across the room. His face had become empty. She approached him with the letter. He did not take it. Read the last line again. Lily's voice softened. Tell Sebastian I did not leave him. His eyes closed. For a moment, the feared mafia boss disappeared. A wounded boy stood in his place. He had been 16 years old enough to understand death, but young enough to believe every lie spoken by men he trusted. Lily placed the letter on the table. Sebastian turned away. Leave me. She should have obeyed. Instead, she sat in the chair beside the window. He looked at her. I said leave. I heard you. Then why are you still here? Because you did not mean it. His gaze hardened. But she saw the grief beneath it. You know very little about what I mean. Your mother spent her final moments trying to reach you. You are allowed to feel something about that. Feeling is a luxury in my position. No. Hiding is the luxury. His eyes flashed. Be careful. Lily stood. There it is. What? The threat you use whenever someone gets close enough to see you. Sebastian moved toward her. You think you see me. I think you have spent years making people afraid because fear is easier to control than love. The space between them disappeared. His face was close to hers. His hands remained at his sides. But Lily felt the force of his restraint. You should not speak to me like that. Why? Because I might prove everyone right about me. Her heart beat against her ribs. Would you hurt me? Sebastian looked at her mouth. The silence became dangerous. No, he said. The answer was almost a confession. His hand rose toward her cheek. He stopped before touching her. Lily felt the warmth of his fingers near her skin. Then the office door opened. Bianca entered. She saw them standing inches apart. Her expression became still. Sebastian lowered his hand. How did you get inside? He asked. Your uncle authorized me. Then my uncle has forgotten who owns this building. Bianca placed a folder on his desk. Marcelo wants the engagement announced tomorrow. The alliance will protect both families while you investigate the shooting. Lily stepped away. Sebastian noticed. Bianca noticed him, noticing. She smiled at Lily. Still here, Lily gathered the old letters. Unfortunately for you, Bianca's smile sharpened. You misunderstand. I feel sorry for you. Do you? You have confused his interest in the coat with interest in you. Lily's fingers tightened around the documents. Sebastian's voice became cold. Enough. Bianca continued. Sebastian becomes obsessed with problems until he solves them. Then he forgets they existed. You are a seamstress standing beside a mystery. Once the mystery disappears, so will you. The words struck where Lily had refused to admit she was vulnerable. Sebastian looked at her. Lily turned away before he could see the pain. She left the office. That night, she could not sleep. She stood in the private workroom Sebastian had arranged for her. A new sewing machine rested beside the window, along with every tool she had used in the shop. The gesture should have felt generous. Instead, it proved how easily he could rebuild the shape of her life without understanding what gave it meaning. The old machine mattered because her grandfather had repaired it with her. The wooden table mattered because generations of nervous brides had stood beside it. Objects could be replaced. History could not. Lily heard footsteps behind her. Sebastian entered without his jacket. The bandage around his arm showed through his white shirt. You should be resting, she said. So should you. She returned to the coat. The inner lining had been fully opened. The hidden account map stretched across the table. Sebastian stood beside her. Bianca was wrong. Lily kept her eyes on the thread. About which part I do not forget problems. That is comforting. You are not a problem. She looked up. Then what am I? His answer did not come quickly. The hesitation hurt more than she expected. Lily nodded. That is what I thought. She reached for a spool of thread. Sebastian covered it with his hand. Their fingers touched. The contact was small, but neither moved. I do not know what you are, he said. His voice was lower now. I know that I hear your sewing machine from my office and can work only when it is moving. I know that I enter a room and search for you before I notice anyone else. I know that a bullet came through your window, and for the first time in years, I forgot to calculate whether protecting someone would expose me. Lily's breathing slowed. Sebastian's fingers closed gently around hers. That is not nothing. No, it is dangerous. For me, for everyone. He released her hand and stepped away. The loss of contact felt immediate. Lily looked at the coat. The damaged sleeve still needed reinforcement. Sit down, she said. Sebastian frowned. Why I am going to teach you how to sew. He stared at her. I know how to use a gun. That does not qualify you to hold a needle. I have people for this. Your mother repaired part of this coat herself. His expression changed. Lily pointed to a row of uneven stitches. These were not made by a professional. The thread was pulled too tightly. Your mother probably did them. Sebastian sat beside her. Lily placed the coat across his hands. She guided the needle between his fingers. Not like that. I am holding it. You are threatening it. It is a needle. It looks terrified. A faint breath left him. It was the closest thing to laughter she had heard. Lily moved behind his shoulder. She placed her hand over his and guided the needle through the fabric. Sebastian became completely still. Her chest brushed his back. His head turned slightly. Their faces came close. Lily felt the air change. The city glowed beyond the glass. The penthouse was silent except for their breathing. Sebastian looked at her mouth again. This time, Lily did not move away. His free hand rose and rested against her waist. The warmth of his palm spread through the fabric of her dress. He drew her closer by less than an inch. The restraint made the moment more intimate than force ever could. Then his phone rang. Sebastian closed his eyes briefly. Lily stepped back. He answered. His security chief spoke from the other side. The expression on Sebastian's face hardened. When he listened, keep him alive. Sebastian ended the call. What happened? Lily asked. We found the shooter. Within an hour, Sebastian entered a hidden room beneath one of his hotels. Lily was supposed to remain upstairs. She followed him. The captured shooter sat tied to a chair beneath a hanging light. Blood marked one side of his face. Sebastian's men stood against the wall. Sebastian stopped when he saw Lily in the doorway. You should not be here. She looked at the prisoner. He tried to kill me. Yes. Then I have the right to hear why. The shooter laughed. She is brave. Sebastian moved toward him. Do not speak to her. The man smiled through swollen lips. Bianca said you were distracted. But I did not expect this. The room became silent. Sebastian's eyes turned colder. Who hired you? The shooter looked at Lily. The pretty seamstress has Isabella eyes. Sebastian struck him once. The chair fell sideways. Lily flinched, but she did not look away. Sebastian pulled the man upright. Who hired you? The shooter spat blood onto the floor. Ask the woman you plan to marry. Sebastian stared at him. Lily felt the answer before the man spoke. Bianca Valenti. The shooter continued. She wanted the shop destroyed. Not the girl. The bullet was supposed to frighten you into moving the evidence. Marcello has people inside every Romano property except the tower. He needed to know where you would take the coat. Sebastian turned toward his security chief. Lock down the penthouse. The shooter laughed again. Too late. The lights went out. Gunfire erupted in the corridor. Sebastian reached Lily before darkness fully covered the room. He pulled her against his chest and moved her behind a concrete pillar. His body shielded hers. Men shouted. Emergency lights turned the hallway red. Sebastian fired twice toward the doorway. Someone collapsed outside. Lily covered her ears. Sebastian spoke near her face. Stay with me. I am here. No matter what happens, you stay behind me. He moved through the darkness with one arm around her waist. They entered a service corridor as bullets struck the wall behind them. At the stairwell, Sebastian pushed Lily through the door. A masked man appeared below them. Sebastian fired. The man fell against the railing. Lily had seen violence in movies. This was different. There was no music. No graceful movement. Only noise. Fear. And Sebastian's terrifying calm. He guided her upward toward the roof. Rain struck them when they emerged onto the helipad. A black helicopter waited with its blades turning. Sebastian pushed Lily toward it. She stopped. The coat. Forget the coat. The evidence is inside it. I will replace evidence. I cannot replace you. The words struck her harder than the gunfire. Lily looked back toward the stairwell. Sebastian caught her face between his hands. Listen to me. Rain moved across his skin. For the first time, Fear showed openly in his eyes, not fear of death. Fear for her. Get inside the helicopter. What about you? I'm behind you. Promise. His expression tightened. Lily, promise me. I promise. She climbed inside. Sebastian followed as his men returned fire across the roof. The helicopter rose above Manhattan while red emergency lights flashed inside the tower below. Lily looked at Sebastian. Blood covered his hand. She reached for him. He pulled away. It is not mine. That was not why she had reached. He understood a second too late. The helicopter carried them to a coastal estate outside the city. The house stood above a dark stretch of ocean, surrounded by stone walls and armed guards. Sebastian brought Lily to a bedroom overlooking the stormy water. She turned toward him. Bianca ordered the shooting. It appears so. And your uncle helped her. Yes. You were going to marry her. No. Your family expected you to. My family also expected me to hate my mother. Lily watched him. Sebastian stepped closer. I will not marry Bianca. Because she betrayed you, because she threatened you. The answer was immediate. Lily's chest tightened. He touched her cheek at last. His thumb moved beneath her eye. The contact was gentle, almost reverent. I should send you somewhere far from me, he said. Would that make me safer? But you are not going to. No. Why? His hand slid to the back of her neck. Because the thought of not knowing where you are has become worse than the danger of keeping you close. Lily looked into his eyes. That sounds like obsession. It is becoming one. She should have been afraid. Part of her was. Another part had trusted him from the moment he obeyed her order to hold a towel against his wound. Lily placed her hand against his chest. His heart beat hard beneath her palm. Sebastian lowered his forehead to hers. Tell me to stop. She could feel his breath against her lips. She did not tell him. His mouth met hers slowly. There was no hesitation once the kiss began. Sebastian drew her against him, one arm circling her waist, the other buried in her hair. The restraint he had carried for days broke without becoming careless. His kiss was deep and possessive, but every movement waited for her answer. Lily answered by gripping his shirt. The storm struck the windows behind them. For one dangerous moment, the world contained no family war, hidden accounts, or burning memories. Only the man who had frightened an entire city and the woman who had taught him to hold a needle. Sebastian broke the kiss first. His forehead remained against hers. This changes nothing about the danger. No, it makes it worse. Yes, Lily almost smiled. At least we agree. The following morning, Sebastian was gone. A note waited beside the door. Stay inside the estate. Lily crumpled it. She found his security chief downstairs. Where is he? Manhattan? Why? He is meeting Marcello Romano. Without telling me. He gave specific instructions that you remain protected. Lily looked toward the storm outside. Sebastian had kissed her like he could not survive losing her, then left before she woke. Fear disguised as control. She understood it now. She also refused to accept it. In the workroom of the estate, the coat rested inside a locked glass case. Sebastian had recovered it from the tower after the attack. Lily examined the hidden map again. Something bothered her. The account numbers were not arranged by date. They were arranged by garment measurements. Bust, waist, sleeve, hem. Her grandfather had created a pattern. Lily placed tracing paper across the lining and copied every number. When arranged, according to the measurements, the accounts formed addresses. One belonged to an old garment warehouse near Bennett Alterations. Another belonged to the Romano family church. The final address belonged to the Valenti mansion. Lily called Sebastian. He did not answer. She called again. Nothing. Then she noticed smoke on the security monitor. Not at the coastal estate. At her shop, someone had accessed the city cameras. Bennett Alterations was burning. Flames filled the front windows. The old wooden counter disappeared behind fire. Lily stopped breathing. She ran toward the entrance. Guards blocked her. Mr. Romano ordered us to keep you here. That is my shop. It is not safe. My grandfather's records are inside. The building is already lost. Lily looked at the flames. Grief tore through her. Then she remembered the garments delivered across the city. She had not only copied the account numbers onto paper. During the days at the penthouse, she had stitched portions of the map into the hems of finished garments. She had sent them to clients before the attack. Her grandfather had taught her never to trust a single copy. The shop could burn. The truth had already left it. Lily turned toward the security chief. Give me a phone. Sebastian arrived at Bennett Alterations while the building was still burning. Black vehicles blocked the street. Firefighters fought flames near the roof. Rain mixed with smoke above the neighborhood. He stepped from the car and saw Lily standing behind the emergency barrier. His face became murderous. He crossed the street. Who brought you here? I came to see what remained. You were ordered to stay at the estate. I am not one of your soldiers. This building was targeted to draw you out. It worked. Sebastian caught her shoulders. Do you understand what Bianca will do if she finds you? Lily stared at the burning shop. She already did it. A section of the roof collapsed. Lily flinched. Sebastian pulled her against his chest. For several seconds, she fought him. Then grief defeated anger. She buried her face against his coat. My grandfather built everything inside that shop. Sebastian held her tightly. I know. No. You do not. I know what it means to watch fire erase the last place someone loved you. Lily looked up. The flames reflected in his eyes. He had watched a mansion burn at 16. He had believed his mother died inside. Sebastian touched her face. I will build another shop. You cannot replace it. His jaw tightened. Then tell me what to do. The question surprised both of them. Powerful men offered solutions. Sebastian offered obedience. Lily wiped her tears. Stand here. He remained beside her while the shop burned. He did not speak. He did not order her to stop grieving. He simply held her hand as the roof collapsed. Hours later, Marcello Romano called. The older man demanded a family meeting at the abandoned church, where generations of Romanos had been married and buried. He claimed to possess the complete truth about Isabella. Sebastian knew it was a trap. He went anyway. Lily went with him. The church stood near the river, surrounded by black vehicles and men from both families. Inside, candles illuminated cracked stone walls. Marcello waited near the altar. He was elegant, silver-haired, and calm. Bianca stood beside him in a black dress. Representatives from the Romano and Valenti families occupied the pews. Sebastian entered with Lily on his arm. Every conversation stopped. Bianca stared at their joined hands. Marcello smiled. You brought the seamstress. Her name is Lily Bennett. She has caused considerable damage for someone with so little power. Sebastian's voice remained controlled. She restored the evidence you failed to destroy. Marcello looked at the black coat around Lily's shoulders. Isabella always loved dramatic gestures. Lily felt Sebastian become still. You killed her, he said. Marcello seethed. Your mother killed herself the moment she stole from the family. She helped women escape men like you, Lily said. Marcello looked at her. Thomas Bennett had the same moral weakness. Lily's heart changed rhythm. What did you do to my grandfather? Marcello smiled. Nothing directly. Age finished what fear began. Sebastian moved forward. Lily held his arm. Marcello noticed. Interesting. She controls you? No. Sebastian said. She reminds me I have a choice. Bianca stepped down from the altar. You have no choice. The Valenti Alliance is the only reason your ports remain open. Announce the engagement tonight. Surrender the coat, and the conflict ends. Sebastian looked at her. You ordered a bullet through Lily's window. It was never supposed to hit her. You burned her shop. She should have surrendered the evidence. Bianca's composure cracked. She is nobody. Sebastian. Look at her. She repairs clothes for people who cannot afford better. She has no family, no influence, and no understanding of our world. Sebastian removed the coat from Lily's shoulders. Bianca smiled, believing he was about to surrender it. Instead, he folded it and placed it carefully in Lily's arms. Then he faced the families. Lily Bennett protected the name of Isabella Romano when every person in this church benefited from erasing it. His voice carried through the stone chamber. My mother did not betray this family. She exposed what it had become. Marcello laughed. With what evidence? The shop is ashes. Lily stepped forward. The shop is gone. She held his gaze. The evidence is not. The church doors opened. Women entered. Some were elderly. Others were middle-aged. Several carried garment bags. A doctor from Boston placed a nurse uniform across the first pew. A teacher from Philadelphia opened the hem of a gray coat. A restaurant owner from Baltimore removed a strip of numbers from the lining of a dress. Dozens of copies. Dozens of account trails. Isabella's network had survived. Lily looked at Marcello. My grandfather knew you would burn the shop one day. He taught me to hide truth in things powerful men never bothered to examine. Clothing made by invisible women. The family representatives began whispering. The accounts connected Marcello and the Valenti family to stolen funds, illegal businesses, and the deaths of women who had tried to escape. Bianca's face changed. She reached beneath her dress. Sebastian saw the movement. So did Lily. Bianca drew a small gun and aimed at her. Sebastian stepped between them. The gun fired. The bullet struck his shoulder. He remained standing. Lily screamed his name. Sebastian raised his weapon and fired once. Bianca's gun fell from her hand. She collapsed beside the altar, clutching her injured arm. Marcello signaled his men. Half the guards in the church drew weapons. The other half turned against them. Sebastian had planned for betrayal. Gunfire erupted between the pews. Lily pulled Sebastian behind a stone column. Blood spread across his shirt. She pressed both hands against the wound. You were shot. I noticed. Do not make jokes now. You liked that answer the first time. Despite the terror, a broken laugh escaped her. Sebastian touched her face. Stay here. No. Lily, you promised to remain behind me on the roof. You never promised I had to stay behind a church column. He stared at her. Then the corner of his mouth moved. She helped him stand. Together, they crossed the side aisle while his men pushed Marcello toward the altar. The older man grabbed one of the women from Isabella's network and placed a weapon against her throat. Sebastian stopped. Marcello smiled. Your mother died because she believed weakness could become power. Sebastian's eyes became cold. My mother died because men like you feared women who survived. Marcello tightened his hold on the hostage, dropped the weapon. Sebastian lowered his gun. Lily noticed a loose length of ceremonial fabric hanging beside the column. She looked at the frightened woman. The woman looked back. Lily pulled the fabric. A heavy brass candle stand fell. It struck Marcello's arm. The hostage escaped. Sebastian crossed the distance before Marcello could recover. He drove him against the altar. Years of control broke. Sebastian struck him once. Then again. Marcello fell beneath the stone carving of the Romano family crest. Sebastian aimed his weapon. Marcello laughed through blood. Do it. Become exactly what Isabella feared. Sebastian's finger tightened. Lily approached him. Sebastian. He did not look at her. This man killed my mother. I know. He burned your shop. I know. He tried to kill you. Lily placed her hand over the weapon. But he does not decide what you become next. Sebastian looked at her. The church became silent around them. Slowly, he lowered the gun. He ordered his men to take Marcello alive. That decision destroyed the old Romano order more completely than death could have. The surviving family leaders witnessed Marcello confess through the account records. Valenti Alice abandoned Bianca. The hidden network received control of the money Isabella had stolen to protect it. Sebastian did not ask forgiveness for the family. He dismantled the people who had made forgiveness impossible. For weeks, Lily remained near him while his shoulder healed. He hated resting. She threatened to sew him to the bed. He believed she might. The city newspapers described the church conflict as a private business dispute. Publicly, Marcello Romano disappeared from leadership. Bianca Valenti entered a guarded medical facility owned by neither family. Privately, everything changed. Women who had lived under false names received legal ownership of the shelters Isabella had created. Thomas Bennett's ledgers became the foundation of a new trust. Sebastian offered Lily a luxury boutique on Fifth Avenue. She refused. He offered a private fashion house overlooking Central Park. She refused that too. He purchased a historic building 2 blocks from the burn shop. Lily stared at the deed. The property belongs to Romano Holdings. Sebastian sat across from her at the new cutting table. Not anymore. She examined the document. Her name appeared as the sole owner. Lily Bennett. No conditions. No family claim. No hidden partnership. She looked at him. You gave me the building. No. You said you would accept a shop only if it belonged entirely to you. I did. So I transferred ownership before showing it to you. Lily placed the deed on the table. And what do you receive? Sebastian looked toward the sewing machine. A chair beside your work table. Her expression softened. That is all. No. His gaze returned to her. I also want the right to bring damaged coats here without an appointment. You are demanding a great deal. I am known for that. Lily walked around the table. Sebastian stood. The scar beneath his shoulder was still healing. His power had not diminished. But something inside him had changed. He no longer treated devotion as surrender. He treated it as a decision. Lily placed both hands against his chest. What happens when another problem interests you more than the seamstress? There will not be one. You sound very certain. I have searched for you in every room since the day you refused my money. His hands settled around her waist. I have heard your voice while negotiating with men who wanted me dead. I have carried your thread inside my pocket because touching it reminded me you were alive. Lily looked into his eyes. You carry my thread. Sebastian reached into his jacket. A small spool of silver thread rested in his palm. Her heart tightened. He had taken it from the workroom at the penthouse. The same thread she used to restore his mother's name. Sebastian continued. I spent my life believing love made people easy to destroy. Then you stood in front of armed men with tailor shears because they touched a wedding dress. Lily smiled. It was expensive fabric. He drew her closer. You make fear look unreasonable. You make fear look necessary. It usually is. His expression became serious. I cannot promise a life without danger. I know. I cannot become harmless. I would not believe you if you tried. But I can promise that nobody will own this shop except you. Nobody will decide your future except you. Not even me. Lily looked at the deed again. And if I choose you, Sebastian's control disappeared from his eyes. Then I will spend the rest of my life trying to deserve the choice. She kissed him. Months later, Bennett Alterations reopened. The new shop had tall windows, bright walls, and the restored wooden counter rescued from the fire. The edges remained darkened by smoke, but Lily refused to replace it. The photograph of Thomas Bennett hung above the sewing machine. Beside it was a smaller photograph of Isabella Romano wearing the black coat. Women from the hidden network attended the opening. Some brought garments Thomas had altered decades earlier. Others brought daughters and granddaughters who knew only that a seamstress and a mafia mother had once helped their families survive. Black vehicles lined the street. Sebastian stood near the door in a dark suit, while his guards attempted to remain invisible among the customers. They failed. Lily noticed Sebastian touching the sleeve of his coat. She approached him. "What did you damage?" "Nothing." "Then why are you here? I need an alteration." He removed the coat and handed it to her. Lily examined it. There were no tears, no missing buttons, no damage at all. She looked at him. "What exactly needs to be repaired?" Sebastian leaned closer. "I wanted an excuse to sit beside you while you work." Lily smiled. "You own half the city. But you still cannot make an appointment. I do not own this shop." "No, you do not." She carried the coat to the work table. Sebastian followed and sat in the same old wooden chair he had used on the first day. Lily opened the lining. Isabella Romano's name remained preserved in silver thread. Beneath it, Lily had embroidered 2 additional words. She turned the lining toward him. "Still remembered." Sebastian touched the letters. His eyes became quiet. Then he noticed another name stitched beneath his mother's. Lily Bennett. He looked at her. Lily threaded her needle. "Your mother began the work. My grandfather protected it. I finished it." Sebastian reached for her hand. "And me," she placed the needle between his fingers. "You are still learning." He pulled her gently between his knees. "I learn quickly. Not when you hold it like a weapon." His hands settled against her waist. "Everything becomes a weapon in the right hands." Lily leaned closer. "Avon love." Sebastian looked into the eyes of the woman who had restored his mother's name, exposed the lies of his family, and taught him that protection without freedom was only another kind of prison, especially love. Outside, Manhattan moved beneath the afternoon sun. Inside the shop, the sewing machine waited beside the black coat. The man feared by the city lowered his head against Lily's heart. For once, he did not listen for danger. He listened to the sound that had become his only definition of home.